Hey, my home is draffet. There's draffet dough. And this week goes in hand in hand with last week's racism, and it's on stereotypes. Now, I'm doing the funny part with the voice and everything, just because if it's fitting for this particular one, because stereotypes, I hate to say it, um, they exist. Now, is it right to take an individual or a group of individuals that look a specific way and put them as what all of, well, we'll use rednecks with the whites, with all, taking how rednecks act and taking them and going, well, that's how all white people act. No. Okay. Thing is, stereotypes are there because there is people who are like that, whether it's black, white, Hispanic, uh, Asian, Middle Eastern. You, with every stereotype, you can find that type of person in a specific ethnic group, or not even ethnic group, socio-economic group. Now, like I said, is it right to judge people by a stereotype? No. In some cases, though, it is necessary to judge a person by his stereotype. If you're in law enforcement, um, and someone is out of place and they fit a specific stereotype, there's a good chance that that person is there for a reason. Now, that doesn't mean that they're there for a malicious reason. They're just there for a reason. Um, Prime example is this. Ludacris did a movie. I will get it up on this computer. And they did this, and I'm going to use this one as an example, just because the movie, and I'll post a link for the movie from IMDb, so you can watch what I'm talking about. Now, in the movie, Ludacris is walking down street in Beverly Hills, and they're talking about two black men, fitting the racial stereotype of what a black man, would be, that would cause problems with the style of clothes, the whole 9 yards, and how white people generally stereotype that they're bad people just because of how they look. Now, in this particular movie, the stereotype fit, because in the movie, Ludacris and his friend end up robbing a high-end store. Now, does that necessarily fit? I'm going to see if it's the one I've got right here. Yes, the film differs from many other films about racism in its rather impartial approach to the issue. Rather than separating the characters into victims and offenders, victims of racism are often shown to be racist themselves in different contexts and situations. Okay. This is the movie. It's called Crash. It's from 2004. Now, here's the part I'm talking about. In a part of town, Rick Cabot, the local district attorney, and his wife Jean are carjacked as they're about to enter their Lincoln Navigator by Anthony and Peter, which is Ludacris and Lawrence Tate. Okay, so my bad. It wasn't a store. They carjacked somebody. Okay, but it was still. If you watch the movie, you will see how they react and everything, and what the stereotypes were. Now, I only use that because it's the best example I've got. Now, um, with that said, the current styles in anything does not mean that a person's ignorant or stupid or is out to harm another person. Okay, stereotypes are there because there was one person that looked like that and did it, and in the end, that that doesn't always end up being the case because there are a lot of very intelligent people, black people in entertainment and basketball that dress like stereotypical. Uh, how do I stereotypical way that you would look negatively at a black man. It does not mean that they are. Same way that there are certain white people that dress in uh, redneck or like Larry the Cable Guy, and they're actually just do it for the comfort of the clothes. They aren't that way. Or um, there's another thing I'm trying to think of for a stereotypical work, and I was just thinking what a stereotypical business owner looks like. Okay, uh, with most businesses, you would look at them as having to deal with the job with either suit or a nice outfit to deal with the business in a specific way. And you get that one gentleman that goes out to the shop hands on, dirty clothes, whatever. And then when somebody asks about the owner and where the owner is, this person comes up and he doesn't look like the owner because he is not dressed in the stereotypical way that a businessman should look. He prefers doing the hands-on approach. I mean, I can come up with all sorts of stereotypes, whether it's from Muslims, Chinese, Japanese, Gothic, emos, but it all ends up being that even though there is a stereotype, and like I said, racism and stereotypes go hand in hand. Okay, that does not mean that stereotypes always fit or always with racial profile. Sometimes it can be, like I said, sometimes it can be socioeconomic or status symbols, which have nothing to do with race. You can take what the classic jock looks like, and if you were a dork or somebody that's always getting picked on by the jocks, no matter whatever, you meet that one jock that's actually pretty cool, and you treat him kind of shitty because you're always used to the jock that's trying to kick your ass, or the burnout that's trying to kick your ass, And in some cases, like I had a buddy of mine growing up that was actually really, really intelligent. But he dressed jeans, t-shirt, rock t-shirt, had the, you know, rocks, buttons and everything on the jean jacket and everything. But if if you were to actually talk to him, he actually was quite intelligent. Did not mean he didn't get in trouble because, well, he did. It was just his nature, being with association with having ADD and ADHD. It's just different ways of dealing with problems. Another prime example. In GQ about between 97 to 2000, there was an article about a gentleman who was a genius level, 165 IQ, was working as a bouncer at a bar before the article, and he was actually also on Nightline. I'm going to turn this because I actually have something to do so I can talk at the same time. Now, this gentleman had military father or stepfather who did the classic military stereotype of what the military father would do, and had them working out and hard ass through all of their life. This gentleman is now in his late 50s, early 60s ish, and growing up, he dressed in the typical way that a biker or a rough biker or whoever would be back then. And because of his dad influence, he's kind of muscular. Now his issues became across because he had a genius level IQ and he had problems, not so much with school as so much as he was so advanced from the curriculum, it was causing him issues. Okay, so again, people would see him and they would have the typical stereotype for what he looked like, and they figure he was, just muscle bound, but he was actually, the gentleman in question actually built his own computer from scratch and came up with his own theory on the universe, and has a couple of books published on the subject, and got recognition because of it, because of the article in GQ and Nightline. So you can't really take a person by their stereotype and say, well, you look like this, so you must be. Because in the end, a book by its cover does not mean that there's good information in it or bad information in it. It just means you have a pretty cover or a shitty cover. So with that, this is Draffet, and this is Draffet Store. Have fun, and next week I'm going to be playing it by ear.